Welcome to our first English episode. I invited Bob Melkus, the co-founder and current CEO of Fox in a Box. Fox in a Box is an international escape room franchise with more than 20 locations on 4 continents. Bob talks about the challenges of running a franchise remotely, how he received more than 2 million escape room players in the last 10 years, and how he came up with the idea to turn a single escape room into a franchise company. Das ist der Lebegeil-Erlebnis-Podcast mit Jan Stein. Hier hörst du spannende Interviews mit Gästen aus der Freizeit- und Erlebnisbranche. Wir sprechen über neue Attraktionen und Entwicklungen in der Freizeitindustrie und tauchen in die Themen Marketing und Business ein. Der Podcast für alle Freizeitanbieter und Erlebnisfreunde. Hi, hier ist Jan von lebegeil Media. Als Marketingagentur für die Freizeitbranche haben wir schon vielen Unternehmen geholfen, ihre Online-Präsenz zu optimieren und ihre Gäste komplett zu begeistern. Ob du eine neue Website benötigst, deine Google-Platzierung verbessern willst oder über Werbeanzeigen mehr Gäste erreichen möchtest, wir haben die perfekte Marketingstrategie für dich. Klingt interessant? Dann kannst du einfach einen Termin auf unserer Website unter lebegeil-media.com/Termin vereinbaren und wir sind bereit für deine Fragen. Also lehn dich zurück und lass uns gemeinsam auf eine Reise voller Marketingabenteuer gehen. Hi Bob, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great too. I'm excited. It's the first episode in English and right away with a guest like you. Perfect. Perfect start. You told me that you're traveling right now. You're doing a road trip. You're in Serbia. What's the next stop on the road trip?
Yeah, so next stop is going to be actually Bosnia. And then from there, we're going to do Italy and Switzerland. And this is as far as we have planned. Then from Switzerland, we still don't know where we're going to go. We just know that we have to be back by 20th of August, like back in Sweden, because that's when the kids start school. So that's okay. Our only pinpoint is actually we have to make it back. But we're a very spontaneous family. And we don't plan.
That's awesome.
It's literally planning just the next day ahead, right?
Yeah. So you just have like your destination, but you don't have like, next Monday we're going to do rafting and then we're going to play an escape room and then we're going to have dinner at that place.
No.
Or like,
whatever happens. It goes total freestyling. And it always turns out the best, right? We're never actually bored when we're freestyling. Something new comes out every time.
Yeah, I wish I were like that on my trips too. But usually when I go to Europe, I have everything planned like every single day because I live in Mexico. And then when I go visit my family, I want to like take the most out of it, and then I book all the hotels, all the train trips and everything. But I also like to travel like that once in a while, just freestyling it.
Try it once, just commit to like take 2 weeks off to trip to Europe with no plans and see how it goes. You might hate it and you might love it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. So let's talk about escape rooms. I'm excited. You're CEO of Fox in a Box. That's an escape room company. I guess also one of the first escape room companies in Europe, right?
Yeah, we started 10 years ago. So we were one of the, in a lot of countries, we were the first escape room in Serbia, the first escape room in Croatia, the first one in Sweden, where we are now situated. So we were like 10 years ago, it was still kind of we were considered pioneers in this business, I guess, although escape rooms did exist in Hungary and a few other places for a while already.
Yeah, I actually played my first escape room in Warsaw in Poland. That was like 2012, I think. And then it became really popular in Germany, and also 2012, 2013. I started playing a couple of escape rooms there, Team Escape and Exit in Berlin. And then, it blew up like in the next years. But it's great to talk to someone that was there like, in the first years.
Early on.
Yeah.
I've
So
played my first escape room in 2013, actually early 2013, and by uh, the like Q3 of 2013, we were already operational with our first location. So we kind of had like, okay, this is what I want to do, right? That was like an
yeah.
instant connection. So
So you're not only CEO of Fox in a Box, you're also the founder, right?
yeah, so I'm one of the founders, and I was also the creative director of Fox in Box for a longest while, trying to avoid the CEO position. But in the end, during COVID and everything, it was kind of pushed on to me, and I finally took the responsibility of actually being the frontman of the company, which was kind of always given to me. It's just I was
Yeah.
being afraid of the responsibility, and
Okay.
disappointing others, maybe.
Yeah. So why did you say like in the beginning, oh, I don't want to be CEO, I want to do more the creative part?
I mean, it's an interesting story, right? Because I am a creative guy, right? I got in escape rooms. I loved running escape rooms, being just a game master and, seeing
Yeah.
people's reaction. But also, I was the head designer in the beginning until we hired more designers and so on. So I loved designing escape rooms and, figuring out, like if they do this, then maybe this will happen and they will have to do this, and getting into that flow. I always loved that, right? And somehow, I was stuck with franchising. I used to hate like franchising as a concept, but it kind of happened because people that played our games really wanted to open the same concept in Chicago or in LA or I don't know, in Mexico or in France. And so kind of the franchising grew organically almost. And I always, had a picture of a franchise as these cold cookie cutter kind of businesses that are not actually about the experience, customers, and so on. And I mean, of course, this was completely off because it's not the franchising system that's evil. It's just that some corporations who are doing franchises become really greedy and then lose sight of what's actually important. And
Yeah.
so it took me a long time to accept, okay, I'm going to actually be on the front of this company. I was always wanting to be kind of the playful spirit where I would give the responsibility of talking to like lawyers and accountants to someone else,
Uh-huh. So in the beginning, you were just planning to do like one single escape room in Sweden, or what was the idea when you started Fox in a Box?
Right. I can try and give you a short history of Fox in a Box. So actually, me and my wife are two of the four original founders. And the two of us played our first escape room in Hungary, loved it, wanted to bring the concept to Serbia as soon as possible. And we actually, through a common acquaintance, met with these two other guys who were opening their first escape room in Vienna. They're originally from Hungary, but at that time, there were like multiple escape rooms already in Budapest, like maybe 10, 15 companies already. So they decided to open somewhere where the scene wasn't as, saturated.
Yeah.
So we met and we decided to partner up. So the four of us became the original founders, although the two of them are actually the main founders. They kind of came up with the concept, which was originally called Room Escape Vienna. It was one of these really generic names that are hard to remember, and a bunch of other companies had exactly the same name. So,
Yeah.
but that's how we started, right? At that time, we thought it was a brilliant name because people would actually know what we do, and for a while it worked. For the first couple of years, actually, it was a useful name. But basically, we when we kind of rebranded the company to Fox in a Box, that's when we really took off the whole kind of branding and brand awareness for us. And then in 2019, we've actually separated from these partners that we originally started with, from the two Hungarian guys. They left the franchise, and Nina and I, we stayed with it, and we have like new partners. And so, yeah, Nina and I are the two original founders, my wife and myself, still in the company.
How did you come up with the name Fox in a Box?
Yeah, so There is I found so I was talking to a few marketing experts about the names because we realized we can't really build a brand if we're called Room Escape, right? It's just not going to happen. We're never going to be recognizable. And I've been giving talks on conferences about branding actually in our industry. I think this is one of the few industries where there's a total like brand fade out because so many companies have very similar names and logos. So I used to actually give whole talks at Eric and at Up the Game about the branding aspect. So that's why I actually took some time to come up with a brand, and we talked to a few marketing experts, and then we read this Igor's naming guide. There's actually a guide on internet how to give names published by this big marketing agency. And yeah, there were a few pointers like choose names of animals, like puma or jaguar. They're like easy to remember, or fruit, apple. Then names that like rhyme and names that are witty are easier to remember, but you have to be careful not to become kind of a joke of a name. And then, of course, there's this aspect which I only found out about later, but I guess 3-letter words that end with X also sound sexy. So we kind of covered everything. We're like box in a box. We have the animal. We have, twice the 3-letter word with an X at the end, and it kind of rhymes. So yeah, that's how we started building the brand. And then we found a really cool award-winning designer to create a logo for us. And that's where it really things really took off because we were suddenly standing above the competition in branding. There are amazing games out there. Of course, it's hard to be the best in the games because people are so creative, right? But with branding, we really stood out from rest of the escape room companies. So that's when things really started happening fast, and we started growing to like the 4 continents that we're on at the moment. And we're opening soon in Africa, I'm hoping. We're in final negotiations, yeah.
Are there already escape rooms in Africa? I guess in South Africa or something.
There are in South Africa, yeah. Yeah, of course. And there are escape rooms in some of the major cities, but very few, and the market is really underdeveloped. And normally we with Fox in the Box, our target markets are like North America, Northern and Western Europe, and Australia. These are our 3 target markets. But when we get really a major city, like from anywhere outside this territory, we go for it. So we opened in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is doing great, and they're going to expand now. It was like really interesting because Hong Kong actually has a very basic scene. I was expecting being in China, escape rooms. I thought Hong Kong would have awesome games, but when we were contacted by our franchisee before he opened, he said that it's very, very basic in Hong Kong. And yeah, this was a surprise. So we are opening in Nairobi.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, well then, you started to make a franchise out of it. How does that work? Like I imagine it to be really complicated to set everything up, to set up all the like directions, everything that people have to follow when they set up their own location. Did you have help there, or did you like just do it on your own? What was the process to make that happen?
We were doing it on our own, but I would not recommend this to anyone else because it's like anything else, right? The mistakes you make in the beginning are going to come back to haunt you, and eventually down the road, you're going to spend a lot more money fixing the mistakes you made in the beginning. So my strong recommendation to anyone is getting a consultant, someone, if you want to set up a franchise, get a consultant, or if anyone from your listeners from escape room industry, I would love to just give them tips and points. If anyone wants to open a franchise, they're welcome to contact me. But there's I can give you a few things, right? You suddenly become a very international company. So you're no longer a small, especially if you go international, which we did. A lot of franchises, like regular franchises, like for example, from Sweden, where we are now based, in Stockholm, there are a lot of franchises, but they always start in the same way. They start with Stockholm, then expand to other cities in Sweden. Then from there, they expand first to Norway, then Denmark, then goes Germany and Finland. And, the expansion is slow. But with escape rooms, that's not how it goes, because people come to you from Mexico and from Chicago and from Brisbane, Australia, and they now want to open back home, right? So you need a good team of lawyers because you need to be compliant in every country. If you go to US, it's a nightmare. If you want to franchise in US, you have to have a franchise disclosure agreement. You have to provide this document 3 weeks prior to providing the contract, or 2 weeks prior to providing the contract. So there's a bunch of things that you can actually do to make your own kind of location. You can make hole in your old system if you don't do it right. And of course, we made a lot of those early mistakes in the beginning. We did it totally with the guidance of our hearts. We loved this. We were enthusiastic about escape rooms. Whoever asked, can I open this back home? We were like, yeah, sure, why not? Not doing enough due diligence, opening with partners who are maybe not ready to be business owners and stuff like that. And yeah, it took 10 years actually for us to kind of become a really solid company legally and, in terms of planning and expansion, as well in just bringing brilliant experiences to people.
Kennst du schon die Freizeit-Marketing-Insights? In unserem Newsletter erhältst du regelmäßig Business- und Marketing-Tipps speziell für Freizeitanbieter direkt in dein E-Mail-Postfach. Melde dich an unter lebegeil-media.com/newsletter. So when you started the franchise, because I guess you started the escape room out of passion. You were passionate about escape rooms. You really liked to play it, and then you started a franchise. Was it still what you like to do, or did you think oh, why did I do that? Why didn't I just stay with the escape room?
Yeah, so this is what I started telling you earlier. I definitely had. That's why I tried not to be the CEO, because I was like, oh my God, we're now a suddenly big corporation. This is not what I wanted. And I'm friends with a lot of, people from the industry, Chris Lattner from Germany and Nick Moran. And all my friends had their own escape rooms, and they can design whatever they want. They can do these huge creative puzzles. But for me, it was always a question, can we put that on a plane? Can we ship it to Australia? How are we going to do this? So I always felt limited. I was a designer whose wings were really clipped by all these constraints that were not, part of my nature. It's just the nature of my business. And then I even have friends who have other businesses as milk cows, app storing or something, to actually make money, to just spend money on designing amazing escape rooms without any wish for profit. But again, as a franchise, I'm responsible for my franchisees. I want them to be profitable. So I'm not just chasing fun and great game, I have to make business profitable. My franchisees should be making at least 50 to 30, 40% profit on whatever they do. So again, new constraints for me, so we can't build these wonderful escape rooms where you're going to spend 200,000 euros on each of the games, because it's going to take forever to come back, and you need to make these long-term plans. So it was always finding that right balance, that the games are immersive and beautiful, but they can still fit in 30 square meters, and that they can be shipped, with planes or put on the container. So yeah, this was in the beginning, this was really troubling me, let's call it. And, I was giving lectures, giving talks on franchising, and I was always saying, don't franchise, that was my advice. But yeah, I think you can find joy in everything you do.
Yeah, so there's still a part that you're passionate about in the company as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm passionate now about the people. I have an amazing team. My Fox in a Box, we're a small agile team that supports this whole big franchise on 4 different continents. And my team is amazing, really. I have in the last couple of years, when I actually became the full-on CEO and accepted my responsibility, I kind of let go of the wheel completely. I have amazing team. People know what needs to be done, and I'm basically there to support them. I'm not their leader. I'm kind of their support service.
Yeah. So you mentioned that that you have to actually ship all the escape rooms to different countries. Is that actually what you do, every single item, or when you do an escape room, for example, now in Nairobi, do you also work like with local suppliers?
Yes, both. So again, we're trying to keep the initial investment of our franchisees as low as possible. So we build for them all the props that they cannot be bought online or in a regular flea market or IKEA or whatever, right? So if they're puzzles, if they're lights, if they're magnets, if they're release mechanism, if there are Arduinos, we're going to build these puzzles for our partners, including the housings, if it's like in a first aid kit is a puzzle, or in a library, we're going to send, or like bookshelf, we're going to send the whole bookshelf, right? But for example, we have a bunker game where you have like the 4 colored phones on a desk, right? We ship the phones because the puzzles are in the phones, but partner also gets a shopping list of stuff he needs to acquire locally. So he would buy the desk and the chair and the carpets, because we send them examples and we give them consultants who kind of guide them through the process of purchasing stuff. This way, the cost is kept to a minimum because our partners actually just pay a little bit over the production value of the games. And when they start making money, we start making money through royalties. But initially, we are trying to help them out as much as we can.
So I guess the escape rooms in different countries are pretty similar, but I guess because of the local conditions, they're not 100% the same, right?
Absolutely. So, and this is something I also love. Like, for example, our owners have a lot of freedom with designing their lobbies, and we give some suggestions, and some of our lobbies look alike, but some are completely different, like some are really immersive with representing the games already outside in the lobby. Others look like in Nice, we have a lobby that looks like a theater from 70s, and so there are these differences. And then in the games themselves, of course, there are slight differences. For example, if they have a Nikola Tesla game, the furniture should look like the set of a hotel room in 1943. So they all have like examples, but then they find different types of beds or different types of night tables or stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. Some of the games do even look a bit different.
Yeah. So we also have a location here in Guadalajara where I live, and I played the rooms in, I think, 2015 or 2016. I played the bunker, and I think the prison as well. So for me, it's pretty interesting because I've played a lot of escape rooms in different countries, and I've noticed that here in Mexico, for example, it hasn't become really popular. So in Guadalajara, there's about 5 million people, but there's only, at the moment, only 3 escape room companies. And when you compare that to Berlin, there's like 20, I think, and less people. So can you notice, like, I guess you have a pretty... you have a good insight into the customer behavior from different countries. Can you point that out a little bit, how that differs between, for example, Germany and Mexico, or like European countries in Mexico?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't know, of course, the reasons, but definitely, for example, when we opened in Sweden, we were the first escape room to open in Sweden. And, we opened with only 2 escape rooms. And usually when we are building these projections, we think, okay, it would be great if in the first month when we open, like first in the country, no one even knows what this is. We were hoping to get 30 games, for the whole month. If we had a single game a day, that would be great for the first month ever, in the country. In Sweden, we had 170 games on the first month that we opened and 300 games on the second month. Literally, we had 150 games in each of our rooms on the second month. Because Swedish people are really want to do new things. They're really open to new things. And I think Germans are alike. And then on top of that, they like doing indoor stuff because the weather isn't that great in Sweden or in Germany, right? So people are used to doing these entertaining things indoor, plus being open to new things. And then on top of that, maybe, they like to do math more or logical puzzles or all of these things. And then in Mexico, we had the same issue, right? When we opened, it actually started much slower than our European locations. Yeah. And I believe it's the combination of factors that Mexican people, they have beautiful weather all year long, and they want to be outside. They're not so used to going inside to do something, with your family or fun activity. And then they're maybe not as open to things. I originally come from Serbia. In Serbia, thing has to exist for at least like 5 or 6 years for people to even go there, right? Because, that people just want to see what is established, what is known, and what is good. So Mexico might be in the same way, like it was really, really long time to pick up. But I think eventually, I'm hoping that actually Mexico scene will change, because you're completely correct. Like, just based on the number of games, the player base isn't as big per capita as it is in any of the European countries.
Yeah. So what I noticed here in Mexico, actually in Guadalajara, is I've also talked to about that with other people, with other escape room owners, that actually in Mexico we have great weather, but people like to spend the day inside because it's sometimes it's too hot. So people like to go to a mall on the weekends or something with the family. But I guess, what you mentioned, people are probably not, they don't like to try that many new things. And maybe also it's a family thing. People like to spend Sundays or Saturdays with their families. They like to have a dinner and just like talk for hours and do something like simple. Maybe that's also a factor that's playing into that.
For sure, but you see, the irony is that escape rooms are a perfect family thing. Like,
exactly.
I play escape rooms with my family when we go. Like when we went to Barcelona, we played. Whenever we travel, we just play escape rooms, and it's fun. And for our customers, we had families who played together, who came afterwards and told me like this was amazing, because we haven't spoken to each other in months. Like, everyone is staring at their phone. The kids are not talking to us anymore. And this was a full hour. We had to communicate and do things together. Like, people were, thanking me for the games with tears in their eyes. So the irony is that this actually, for Mexican people, if they brought their families to escape rooms, I'm sure they would have a blast, right? And they do. I mean, both our Guadalajara and our the same owners from Guadalajara actually opened the second location in Mexico City. So we have a Fox in a Box in Mexico City as well. But again, same thing. And then Mexico City had the very unfortunate thing of being opened in late 2019, Okay. So as soon as they opened, the whole world shut down. And again, this was really tough on Mexico, because the business owners in Mexico didn't have as much support from the government, or barely any. And for example, they had to pay the rent the entire time of COVID while they were closed. So, so this took a huge toll on our Mexican locations. They survived, and things are coming back, and they're better than before. And then hopefully they're going to be better than ever. So we're happy that we kind of weathered the storm. But still, I think this actually made it even tougher on those few business owners, that were in
definitely.
It's sad.
Yeah, I wish there were more escape rooms in Guadalajara, or in general in Mexico, because I've already played all of them here in Guadalajara. There's not like, there's probably like 10, 12 different rooms. And I also met a German guy here 2019, and they opened an escape room here, because they're running an escape room, a really successful one in Germany, and then they came here, opened the escape room, and they had to close down after about a year because it just didn't work out as they planned it. So I don't know, it's difficult. maybe it still needs time, or
I think it still needs to be popularized. If someone was to come and invest like a couple of million building a really big fancy thing in the middle of a shopping mall, if that's what's popular in Mexico, like making something huge and investing a lot of marketing so people start going there, then I think, that would kind of trickle down to the smaller escape rooms as well, because people would realize that this thing is fun. The biggest issue in Mexico is because there's not enough players, the word doesn't spread around either, right? So it's kind of like this vicious circle, you need to produce new players. That's why escape rooms, I never see them as competition. Like good escape rooms will just produce more players, and we're going to grow the player base, and they're going to come to me as well. The only dangerous competition in escape rooms is if someone has really bad rooms, that people go to play, they get disappointed. So they never want to do it again. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, there is the biggest company here in Guadalajara is Enigma Rooms, and they actually they took the advice that you just gave me. They opened their second branch here in Guadalajara in a shopping mall, right next to a cinema and in front of a trampoline location. So I guess that's where they became a little bit more popular, and maybe that was a good step to make it more famous.
Yeah,
hopefully
that's good.
in the next year there's going to be more.
Yeah, I played the rooms in Guadalajara back when we were opening. They already just started a few, I don't know, weeks, months before us. So when I went there to visit our Guadalajara location during the opening, we actually went and played. So I'm happy that they're doing well.
Did you play the Heisenberg?
No, it wasn't open. This was back 2015, I think.
Yeah,
long time ago.
Are there also countries where you haven't succeeded, where you opened an escape room and then, or like some of your franchise partners, and then they had to shut down again because it just didn't work out?
Yes, especially during, COVID kind of messed everything up, but sometimes completely random things happen, right? So, for example, our LA location closed during COVID, which was doing great. We were on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. It was going really well. A lot of celebrities played there, like Elon Musk and Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, and I don't know, it was like the endless list of celebrities coming to play our escape rooms.
Yeah,
it was all good. And then first COVID came, which hit really bad. But then the owner of the property, he decided he wants to try and sell the building or get an investment and build something new. So he wouldn't extend the lease when it expired during COVID. He would only allow them to extend the lease on month-to-month basis. Okay. And, COVID was raging. And they were like, okay, we don't know what is this, how long is this going to last? Maybe if we keep paying the rent for 2 years, he's going to kick us out as soon as, the pandemic passes. And so they actually left the premises. So we lost our LA location, not only due to COVID. Yeah, it was hit bad by COVID, but then also due to bad, management of the property that they were in.
Yeah.
So we also had a few locations that closed, like in Ljubljana in Slovenia. That's one of the locations that never really took off. It was doing great. It had a steady, not great. It was doing good. It was profitable for a while, but it was never really making a lot of money. And so then again, when COVID came and when everything shut down, they basically bankrupted.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. We've had the experiences and shares, and then again, sometimes when you are opening and you start franchising, you're like upset, enthusiastic, so you sign up with everyone, and sometimes you sign up with people who are just not ready, and eventually they shut down. But that's all okay. It's a learning process, both for me and for those people.
Yeah, definitely. So you told me that when you're traveling around Europe, you also you're working. So you're running Fox in the Box from your laptop when you're on the road. How does that work out for you? Because I do the same thing. I'm running my marketing agency, mostly from home office, but sometimes I'm traveling and I take my laptop with me. And sometimes I find that it's a struggle, especially because of the different time zones. And it's hard to manage a team. How do you feel about that? How does that work out for you?
So first of all, I don't have issues with time zones because we are spread out from Washington, Seattle, all the way to Brisbane and Gold Coast. So Fox in the Box already operates in basically all the time zones. So we have to be kind of available always. So sometimes working from different time zones is even helpful because you're closer to time zones with those partners, so you can talk to them a bit more and so on. But the rest of it is honestly when we, for example, last week we just spent 9 days in Greece, and we went with family, friends. Actually, the whole management of the company, me, my wife, and Zoran, our friend, and the third member of the management, we went together with our families to Greece, And then I actually took, even though we were in the same house, the whole management, so we could do business if the team needed us. I actually took a week off so that I can go to the beach in the morning and not work at all. But the rest of the time when we're traveling, we always like rent a house or an apartment that has at least a desk or a home office or something. And then I work from there. But to be honest, I work about 4 hours a day, like, as I've told you, the team is amazing. I just kind of help my team run things. They're the true stars, so I don't have to work that much.
That's great. So you just set up a system that works, and you're just trying to
exactly.
Yeah,
and because we're already
things.
because we are already spread between two countries. So half of our team is in Sweden and half of our team is in Serbia. Like our support, our IT, our production is all in Serbia. So marketing as well. So we constantly have meetings on Zoom anyway, and no one actually, we have offices, but no one comes to the office, like people just work from home. And the whole team is really, none of us have like fixed work hours, like we all know what needs to be done. And, people do the things that need to be done and they allocate their own time whenever they want to do it. And so we're a very relaxed company.
Yeah. Sounds like it. So I noticed that you're using unique domains for each location. So it's not foxinabox.com and then you have all the locations there. So it's like Fox in a Box, Guadalajara, right. Fox in a Box, Berlin. No, you're not in Berlin, but
unique.
Yeah. Exactly. So what's the reason for that? Because, for example, Team Escape in Germany, they have one domain and then they have all the locations listed under that. And I think that works pretty well for them SEO wise, because they have a lot of content, they have a lot of backlinks. Why did you choose to do the other way?
So this is one of the early mistakes that we did, right? So it's not a mistake, but foxinabox.com is the domain that we wanted to base the whole system on. Yeah. And foxinabox.com, I invite everyone to go and visit this website. I'm going to give them some traffic. It's a designer's website that was last updated, I think, in 2002. It's very 1990s look of the website. And I don't know who the owner is. Jane Fox, actually. If you're listening to this, please call me. I want to buy your website. So I've been trying to buy this website for 10 years. Really.
Yeah.
And she is not using it. She's obviously not running this business anymore, but she has, as do we, but she has a trademark, both registered in US, and so do we, but our trademark is in entertainment, her is in graphic design. So actually I can't take over the website and she's not responding. The website's license is automatically being updated. Yeah. I tried going through, contacting some of the brokers. No one can get in touch with this woman. And so because we were hoping, like, of course she's going to sell the website. She's not using it. We were ready to offer some money. So we were always holding back that until we had the foxinabox.com. And then suddenly, all these domains started, like being actually really successful in their own SEO. And still, even if you have one domain for all the games, you still need to do individual SEO and local SEO at each of the websites, especially if you're spread out through the world and not just through one country. Yeah. So it works for us, but we are rebuilding our whole IT system and we might actually switch to a common website.
What's your highest bid for the domain?
I'm not, I don't even know actually. I'm not supposed to offer something to people now so someone can get it for me. I don't know. We can just, if she gets in touch with us or if anyone gets in touch with her, I'm open to these negotiations.
Probably also like the local domains are good for local SEO. Like yes, you have .mx.
Yes. So this is another thing. Yes, especially I really don't know now. I have marketing team, so I might be talking stupid things now, right? But before, when I was still involved with every aspect of the company, the local websites were always higher ranked by Google. So if it was foxinabox.it in Italy, it will always be better positioned in searches. This might have changed and probably has. I really don't know. But that was also one of the things why we chose to have separate domain for each of the websites.
Yeah. What would you say is your most popular escape room?
I get asked this a lot. There isn't a good answer to this because we try to have all our escape rooms at kind of a same level. So if we see that one is underperforming, because we have over 2 million people have played our games now, right? And we follow the metrics around. So if one of the games becomes less booked for any reason, we try to add additional puzzles or change something or get feedback from the players. What's wrong with this game and so on. Now, having said that, often our newer games that just opened in a city, of course, are more popular than the older ones we had for like 10 years by now. So, for example, The Other Side is really popular in Australia, and it was in LA prior to closing down. And one of the rooms that's really popular that's had been around for some time is the Zodiac Killer room. And it's popular because there are a few jump scares that people love. And also game masters love to game master these games because of those jump scares. So basically they would, whenever someone plays another room and asks what should I play next, game masters love recommending Zodiac because they love leading the Zodiac, right? So then that suddenly, because they keep recommending it to the players, that suddenly now goes up to becoming more booked and more popular room.
Yeah. Do you have a personal favorite?
My personal favorite, I might be biased. I mean, I love. No, actually, I don't. I'm sorry. I was just like, this is not a diplomatic answer or anything. I wanted to tell you that I love Prison because it was one of the first rooms where actually I was the lead designer, and a lot of puzzles kind of came from me. So I always felt seriously connected to those puzzles. But I've been in the creative part of each of our game designs, and I really love all of them. Like the newest one we have is also very dear to me because it's like kind of adventure. It's kind of like an adventure story, Indiana Jones kind of style, and it's there are a lot of like spiritual elements to the game as well, and this one also feels right at home with me. And so, to be really honest, I don't have a favorite.
Okay. But you probably have a favorite escape room like outside of Fox in a Box, like from other companies. You already said it's no competition, so you can also mention other escape room companies.
Yeah, I mean, I love a few designers like that do games. Like, so for example, I love Chris Latner's games. I really enjoy all of his both escape rooms and immersive games that he has. I love Victor, from Amsterdam, from Sherlock. They're just building their new game that I can't wait to try. Like the Netherlands have really amazing games. Dark Park, I love all their games. The End is definitely one of my favorite games. So I mean, we can go on forever, right? Just listing really good games that I've played. So I really don't know, but the craziest live experience that I've done is probably level 99 in Boston. It's not an escape room, but that's something that blew my mind. And that's a really beautiful concept. It's like really expensive concept. Apparently the first one was $12 million to build. But it's just, if anyone goes to Boston, you guys have to try level 99. It's an immersive center with like games, but not actually, I don't know, similar to Buddha Borg, if anyone has played.
Like mini games.
Kind of like, mini games that are really fun to do. A lot more physical than escape rooms, but there's some logical challenges as well. And that was kind of mind-blowing. One of the recent things that I've played that were mind-blowing.
Sounds great. I'm going to put that on my list.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, I've only recently played Cyber City in Barcelona. It's one of the top games at Topeka as well. I mean, that's an amazing game. It's kind of like a tribute to Blade Runner, I guess, the most, maybe Matrix and some other sci-fi movies, mixed up into one great escape room. But yeah, that was a really good game as well. And also I loved brewery, also in Barcelona, where you actually have to brew your own beer during the game.
Oh, nice.
So that was different and fun.
Yeah. Have you played Molly's game in the Netherlands?
No, I haven't, and this has been on my list for a while. I think on this road trip, actually, if we go through Amsterdam, I'm gonna do it. And if we go through the Netherlands, I mean, I'm gonna drop by and play it for sure. I've heard. Have you played it? Did you like it?
I just booked it for August because I'm gonna do a little Euro trip in August, and yeah, I'm gonna play that one, and I'm gonna play The Magician of Paris. And I'm always trying, when I'm going to Germany, when I'm going to Europe, I'm trying to pack in as many escape rooms as I can, because here we only have 10 or 12. So so you have to see what's new and everything. So that's also a reason why I always plan my trips, so I can get all the escape rooms done.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Maybe I'll see you in Netherlands in August.
Yeah, would be great. When are you there? You probably haven't planned it yet.
I still don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to go there. But yeah, so far I think the last thing we planned is probably that we're going to go to North Italy and probably Switzerland after that. But if I'm in Netherlands, it's probably going to be around 15th of August.
Okay, perfect.
Something like that. So I'll text you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all your insights about Fox in a Box. It was really interesting to see how that developed into a multinational company. And it's great that you can run everything on the road and just enjoy life with your family. It's really cool. So
for sure.
Congrats for all your achievements.
Thank you so much. And this was great. I really enjoyed talking to you. Great work with your first podcast. I mean, your first English podcast.
Yeah, not going to be the last one.
No, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Let's stay in touch. Meet up somewhere.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. Enjoy the rest of your trip and talk to you soon.
Bye, Jan.
Bye.
Das war der Lebegeil Erlebnis-Podcast. Bist du Freizeitanbieter und möchtest mehr Buchungen für deine Freizeitaktivität erzielen? Dann suche dir einen Termin für ein kostenloses Kennenlerngespräch auf lebegeil-media.com/Termin aus. Für spannende Freizeittipps und Ausflugsideen besuche meinen Blog lebegeil.de.